Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rantz.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of Sports Shorts, presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rantz here with you, along with Joel Davis and his large drink.
Oh, you can see that?
I mean, gigantic.
Hey, look, I got the big gulp, man. What do you want from me?
You haven't gone to a 7-Eleven in a long time.
I thought we were on radio. By the way, I haven't had a Diet Coke in like 2 years.
Was it good?
Dude, let me just tell you something. I realized what I've missed. So I got off the Diet Coke, and then I immediately got on like the energy drinks, right? Like
that's not
I gave up one. Oh, they're horrible. So I gave up one thing and started something different. By the way, energy drinks are way more expensive. They're like $2.99 to $3 each.
$2.99 to $3.
Yeah,
that's the window.
Somewhere around there, like
range.
A penny difference. You gotta add taxes and all that stuff. So yeah, so I started drinking them every day, and then I started realizing, why am I so tired in the afternoon? Why am I so sleepy, Ron? Well, I got off of them. Well, then I got right back on the Diet Coke. So there you go.
Which one are the energy drinks? Red Bull, Monster? Was there one particular?
I started on Monster, got off the Monster, and immediately went to the Reigns. Love the Reigns. The peach rain was delish.
Now we'll get you back on the Diet Coke, and you'll just
I'm back on it. Obviously, you saw it.
Brain cells.
I started on the small 20 ounce. Then I went to the 32. I'm all the way up to the
bottom left of the screen on the table there.
Oh, those are my clothes. Those are my clothes hanging.
I mean, like anything else, you're like Mary Poppins over there, just pulling stuff out of the bag. Is there any furniture over there?
I thought that the corner of the desk was like
first
not
time,
on
first
camera.
Time watching the show.
We don't have like a Zoom.
No, this is the Zoom.
Okay,
That's called a two-shot right there.
I know what it's called, but I thought that there was a Zoom two-shot.
Yeah, no, we don't need that. All right. Well, appreciate that opening
Anything
monologue.
else you'd like to point out?
Is there anything
How's
else
my
you
hair?
got in your pocket or anything?
Is my collar good?
Yeah, hair's nice.
Is my shirt
Your
buttoned up
your
all the
hair's
way?
Never good, but that's irrelevant. This past weekend,
Why don't you show them your shorts you're wearing?
I'm not wearing shorts. This past weekend was the start to the college baseball season. LSU
We're going to start there?
2 out of 3.
That's where we're going to start?
Go ahead.
I mean, Ronnie, I didn't watch any baseball.
Whatever you'd like.
You know I didn't watch any baseball.
Yeah, but most of the people out there did.
But
whether it was UL,
I can't add anything to the show.
Cajuns,
You asked me to come on the show. You said, come on, I need you for 30 minutes. I come on the show for 30 minutes, and you're going to start baseball. We talked about this. I told you I didn't watch.
You can just turn my mic off, whatever Joel wants to talk about.
No, I want you to start again. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give us a little.
Give me one sports thing you watched in the last 7 days.
I watched the Daytona 500.
At
least the beginning of it.
There.
I saw the beginning of it.
There. That's right. If you follow,
it was amazing.
You follow Joel's Twitter,
Absolutely
which
amazing.
is.
I don't like to discuss that.
Oh,
I don't need followers.
We're not.
I don't need followers. I don't need followers.
It got ugly.
I don't
on
need
Twitter.
No. I've actually stepped it back a notch.
Have you?
Absolutely.
If you want to go to JV Sports 04,
I didn't want anybody to get upset.
Yeah.
By some of my comments, and none of it was outrageous. It was just all facts.
So you watched the beginning of the Daytona 500,
and then I turned it off.
The president did a flyover.
Oh, it was so good.
With
so good.
You know, which was great with Air Force One, right? And then he took a lap around the track in his limo, and then he did the gentleman start your engines and the whole.
Can I just say one thing? Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of the Donald for one reason. My pocketbook's way fatter right now. Straight up. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't like some of the things he says. I'm just, my pocketbook is fatter, bro.
Well done by the Donald going there, not the NBA All-Star game. Wouldn't have had the same reaction.
Not the same reaction.
Not the same reaction.
And that's okay. Look, I mean, if people don't like their money, I get it. It's not my problem. I like my cheese.
Speaking of the NBA All-Star game, of all the All-Star games, whether it's hockey,
yeah,
baseball, basketball, the Pro Bowl and football, any of them interest you?
The up and coming stars game. I like the up and coming stars game, the futures game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Zion was in that game. That was fun to watch. Melly was in that game. Nickeil Alexander Walker got to play for the World. Melly and Alexander Walker got to play for the World team. Zion played for Team USA. And I thought it was fun to watch those young, like Trae Young, and there's just so many good basketball players on the planet right now. It's truly remarkable how good these guys are. That's my favorite part, the dunk contest. It reminds me of, did you used to watch America's Funniest Home Videos? You ever watch that?
I wasn't
back in the day.
Yeah,
back in the
day.
Bit,
originally.
You ever noticed that at the end of the show they always gave a winner?
$10,000 winner.
They always had like two families come on, and one family would win for the funniest video. There'd always be like 3 at the end, right? And there would be 3 families there, and they would give an award to the funniest video. You're gonna have a chance to win $1 million at the end of the season. You're gonna win $10,000 in the show. There was always 3 videos at the end, and one was clearly always better than the other one. Always. And that one never won. That one never won. They would always give it to somebody else. That way there would be controversy. Something to talk about at the water cooler the next day. They did it on purpose to tick people off and to make people talk about it. Well, that's what they're doing with the dunk contest now. They're always giving it to the dude that didn't win. It's absurd. I don't want to watch anything where there's a judge involved because it's too shady for me, bro. That's why I have a hard time with gymnastics because it's all judged. Like, what did I see? I'd hate that. So anything that's judged, it's just a little shady for me. And the dunk contest, as fun as it is to watch, I don't like it. I turn it off before they crown somebody. Aaron Gordon got screwed, by the way. Let me just tell you.
He said he's not going to. Aaron Gordon,
of course he's not.
The Magic said he's not going to compete anymore.
He is the New Orleans Saints of the dunk contest. That's who he is. He is the New Orleans Saints of the dunk contest. 2 years they've had an opportunity to go, deep into the playoffs, against the Minnesota Vikings, and then the miracle thing happened, and then the Los Angeles Rams, they stole, the refs stole that game from them, and then clearly Rudolph pushed off P.J. Williams in the end zone in OT. They didn't flag
it. Let it go.
Huh?
Just let it go.
They let it go.
No, you need to let it go.
Oh, okay.
Move on. It's been over a month. By the way, this was I was looking this up. Aaron Gordon in the dunk contest.
Did I tell you he got screwed?
You did.
Okay.
He had 5 perfect scores.
Unbelievable.
In an event that only has 4 dunks. Supposed to only normally have 4 rounds. Guy had 5 perfect scores. Still managed to lose. Gordon now has the most total perfect 50s in the event's history with a total of 8, and he still hasn't won it.
It's incredible, dude. He had this one, like the taco fall dunk was, it was okay.
Yeah, but the fact that he's 7'5" or whatever. But
he's 7'6".
So let me say this: Derrick Jones Jr. No shade to him. Like the dude was amazing. Like
was good.
It wasn't like Derrick Jones Jr. robbed it. I thought Gordon deserved to win it, but Jones Jr. It was fantastic. To me, they should have just given them both the freaking trophy.
No,
at some point it becomes
so everybody gets a trophy now. Everybody gets a trophy. That's the mentality, Musso. That's what we're going to take now. Everybody gets a trophy. I knew you were going to say that. You're the dude that gives everybody a trophy.
I don't give participation trophies. But when
that's what that would have been.
No. When it becomes, I can't decide between the two. I mean, Jones Jr. and Gordon were both fantastic.
Then you have an overtime.
It's like,
you have an overtime.
Then what? They both. If you make your dunk and they're both, oh my God, and you have to slow it down in slow-mo to see how amazing it is, then it should be a 50.
But isn't it part of it? It's showmanship. To bring Taco out there in his really terrible clothing. I mean, I don't know what he's. I mean, dude, you're already a freak of nature.
Wasn't a first-round pick.
You're already a freak of nature, and then you're gonna wear those pants. I mean, did you see the pants?
I didn't see the pants.
He looked like the clown that's on stilts, and they always have the funny long pants on, like stripe. The pinstripe with the big thick pinstripe pants. Then they're walking on stilts. Okay, that's what he looked like, but he's not walking on stilts. He has the big goofy pants on. I don't know who dressed him at all, but it was part of the show, right? And Gordon took the ball off the back of his head, probably around 7 feet, and he went over him, but he kind of came down on Taco's head because Taco had his big head leaning forward. If he had it vertical, he probably would have cleared it.
His junk on the back of his head.
The bottom of his leg. The bottom, it's kind of the bottom inside part of his leg. Okay. But I think if Taco would have went vertical maybe if he should have put the ball on his shoulder and kept his head vertical, I think he would have cleared him. But the fact that Taco had his head down, as Gordon's coming down, he hits the back of Taco's head, which made it look not as impressive. But it was impressive. The dude's 7'6". He got robbed. But the dunk before that, the one that went off the backboard, where Gordon does a 360, he catches it, palms it, rotates 360 and dunks it, was by far one of the most beautiful dunks I'd ever seen in my entire life. And he got a 50 for it, but it didn't help him in the championship round. So anyway, that's my take on it. And I'm not a big fan of judges on anything.
By the way, we all think back to the glory days of the dunk contest, which was the mid-late 80s. These dunks are way better.
Oh, yeah,
way better. I mean, no disrespect to MJ and Dominique and all, and they probably would have morphed into these dunks had they had to.
Yeah.
Everybody learns and steals from each other. But the fact that the thing that made those dunk contests so special back then was that the best players were in the dunk contest. Larry Bird was in the three-point contest. Right. Now it's you got to get a roster. Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Who's he play for, and what team? And if we had LeBron in the dunk contest at any point in his career, it would have been amazing. But give the NBA credit. They got it right with the futures game. I agree, it's fantastic. They got it right with this goofy, scoring system where you start after every quarter and reset to zero. But all that said, the thing that made the scoring system work was in the fourth quarter, the first team that, cumulative to get to 157 won the game.
Yeah.
And that made the fourth quarter relevant. It made teams play hard. It made teams play defense.
Yeah.
It was a 157-155 final score. I didn't like that it ended on a free throw, but so be it. They'll probably tweak that rule moving forward. But it made this game interesting, and it made it relevant, and it made the All-Star game, good again. So we'll see. We'll see. They have to do something to adjust the dunk contest, but they will. And whether they just make it a social media, you pick at home kind of thing or whatever.
I think you got to look at the judges.
The other thing, too, is what they do in gymnastics? Whenever you say, this is going to be my routine, or diving, right? This is going to be my dive. They put a number on it based on how tough it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 5.8 out of a 6 scale dive.
Hey, you're really making it sophisticated.
That's a 5.0 out of it. So if you've got the tougher dunk, it's deemed tougher. If I get a 49, but I'm at a 5.8, or I get a 50, but I'm at a 3.9.
So what's harder, a windmill dunk?
Windmill?
A windmill.
Meal? A meal is much harder. If a windmill is tougher than a windmill.
You're eating on the way up.
Yeah, that's the next thing.
Yeah.
A windmill
dunk from the free throw line, or dunking over taco fall.
Bro, I don't know. Coin flip it.
Exactly.
I mean,
so how do you know? How do you put a difficulty number?
That's why they both deserve to win.
How do you put a difficulty number on that? Is my point.
I think you get Dr. J in a room. You get like the greatest dunkers of the world, and then they apply.
You can't go old school, new school because they don't respect each other.
Spud Webb.
I love Spud Webb.
Remember when Muggsy Bogues?
Yeah, Spud Webb.
Spud Webb and those guys. He's Joel Davis. I'm Ronnie Rantz. XFL? Did you watch any?
I did watch a little bit.
All right, I want to talk about that when we were week 2 of the XFL.
Would you like to? You can do a little recap of baseball, I'm sure, if you want.
Yeah, and I'll talk, and he'll listen. LSU won 2 out of 3. But I also want to talk about the Raging Cajuns. I went over to Lafayette. It was the first weekend without Tony Robichaux at the helm for the Raging Cajuns. It was very emotional all weekend long, and I was there on Saturday to see the statues, the day that the statue got unveiled. Super impressed. Got some thoughts on that as well. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts presented by LeBears. We'll be back right after this. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.
an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rantz.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Shorts. He's Joel Davis. I'm Ronnie Rantz. So this past weekend, the XFL was week number 2. We'll talk a little XFL, then we'll get into some college baseball. Your reaction after 2 weeks of the XFL. Are you more convinced that it's here to stay? And when I say here to stay, they're going to make it through year one. They got the money to get through their 10 games. But is it here to stay in that you think it'll make it 3 years?
I think that it'll make it 3 years. I do. I don't know, man. I mean, the talent is there, but the quarterback play's got to get better. I mean, that's
USFL was 3 years, by the way.
I think that they're probably got enough money and they got enough backing to try to go 3 years, like a 3-year business plan. I mean, people are not dumping money into this thing. Even the networks are dumping money into it. I mean, ESPN's behind it, big
Fox.
time. You know, McMahon's behind it with a ton of money. So it's going to make it 3 years. The thing to me is it's the quarterback play and some of the wide receiver play. Just a major drop off, man.
Big time.
Major
I don't know if they don't have enough time together. The fact that they don't get to play preseason games.
That's a big part of it.
You know, but it's a big drop off. You know,
you can see a few players. You can see a few players that kind of pop off the screen, and you know, guys running away from guys. You know, making guys miss.
This is going to be interesting to see what happens with the XFL.
You've seen a lot of guys that got
my
cut.
team. They're 2-0.
Oh,
I mean, you know, I was the GM of the Lafayette Roughnecks, and Houston's our closest team. So naturally, even before the season, that was my team. But Houston looks like it's fun. They're playing in the University of Houston facility, which is a smaller venue, which is the right thing to do. Don't play in these giant.
Well, they probably got one of the best quarterbacks.
Seat places and only have 10,000 people.
You know what? That's a big part of this. I think that like a Yulman Stadium, like if New Orleans had a team. How great would that be?
Like Tad Gormley?
I mean, but no, to play in the Tulane Stadium.
Sure.
That's a great stadium for this. I mean, it's what? How many is that? 20,000?
20. Yeah,
that's
25.
Perfect. That's perfect. Like you want the stadium to be busting at the seams. Just it makes it look better on TV. The sound. You know, what you don't want to see is turning on the TV and half the stadium being empty. Right.
Right.
You know, the upper decks are completely empty with these squads. The Seattle team. I'm telling you, dude. If Seattle had a polo team.
It would do well.
It's going to do well. I mean, the stands are going to be packed because there's really nothing else to do in Seattle except it rains.
It's a great place.
It's a great place. It's a beautiful place.
Other than the homeless people problem that every West Coast city has.
Give free tickets away. So Seattle packs the house. Houston,
decent in Houston.
But they got a great quarterback, and that's the thing. That's what's going to attract people. PJ Walker, the kid, he's been in the NFL and you know, played behind Andrew Luck. He was not a stud, obviously. He was on the practice squad, ran scout teams, played, you know, on that team for a few years. And you can see that he understands defenses, how to manipulate defenses, how to look off defenders and to kind of bait defenders. You're seeing that from him. Some of the other quarterbacks, you're not seeing it. You know, Josh Johnson played in the NFL, had some success there. Couldn't stick, just is too inconsistent. You saw that with L.A. This weekend, the Los Angeles team, just missing deep throws, hits a deep. But the talent at the wide receiver position is majorly lacking in the XFL, and that's also going to hurt your quarterbacks. Houston's got a stud receiver, bro. They got I think it's either number 11 or 14. I don't know his number. I don't know his name. But he pops off the screen.
By the way, Dallas put up like 28, 29 points. Hal Mummy's the offensive coordinator. I was wondering how things would do. The former Southeastern Lion head coach.
Yep.
He's offensive coordinator, and they had like 8, 9 points, but they got their quarterback back week 2, and it changed their offense considerably. And they had a running back from Auburn.
Do you know who their quarterback is?
Auburn. No. He was hurt week 1.
Yeah.
Who was it?
I don't know.
Okay. So anyway, college baseball started this past
weekend. It'll come to me though.
And LSU won its first 2 games of the series.
Tuamu. He was at
Ole Miss. The transfer from Oregon.
Okay, he had some
Oregon
throws.
State, Oregon.
Let me just say, he had some throws. He had 2 interceptions yesterday, but he had 3 touchdown passes. He had a lot of yards. He made some throws. He's a guy. He's a dude that'll probably get a look in the NFL. He'll be in camp somewhere.
A lot of these guys will be in camp.
Tiamu, he wanted to play at Hawaii under June Jones. June Jones told him no. Went the JUCO route. Ends up at Ole Miss. LSU played.
Yeah, but he went to like Oregon State first.
But he ended up at Ole Miss. You're right, but he ended up at Ole Miss. Took over for your boy.
He was the first fifth-year transfer, start right away quarterback in the SEC that kind of.
He's got skills.
That kind of started this whole trend.
If I was to take a guy, and then you had Josh Johnson, P.J. Walker, Tiamu, those are the guys that kind of stood out to me over the weekend. Tiamu's got that. He's got some ability, but he's got to stop with the interceptions.
I think you're going to see in the XFL, by the way, a lot of DBs, probably get opportunities in the NFL because that's just such a rotating position. College baseball, LSU wins 2 out of 3. Quick takeaways. Cole Henry, their starter on Friday, he's as legit as it comes. Hill, who's starting out in the bullpen, hadn't pitched in a year. They're going to bring him along very, 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 very
he's
slowly.
Got some stink.
But
he's
a
got
month
some
and a half from now, he'll be in the rotation. Landon Marceau, the number 2 starter for LSU, turned down $1.5 million out of high school. Disappointing once again. Kind of
should have taken the money.
Boy, that's a tough one. That's always an interesting. I had that conversation with the Doties. The Doty kid, Kate Doty, hit a home run, his first at bat in college on Friday night. A big thrill for him from Denham Springs. The family lives in my neighborhood, and his dad I've known a long time. And it's always like, what is that number? Because your number is different than my number, different than Musso's number, different than anybody's number. What is the number for? Okay, I'm not going to go 3 years of college at LSU, and I'm going to go pro. And
what's your number?
I think if you're a kid that's in state, it's different than if you're out of state. What I mean by that is if you're Buzzy Heidel, you're going to make a life here. You're going to marry a girl from Bruley. You're going to live here. You're going to have kids. You're going to have an insurance company. This is where your life's going to be. There's tremendous value in the fact that a Buzzy Heidel played 3-4 years at LSU, has a national championship ring and all that, and those ties and everything like that, name recognition. If you're a kid that's from out of state.
And you're going to go home.
And you're going to stay out of state, then I think that number's different. And so for me personally, if I'm a kid that has the decision to make out of high school, I'm from Louisiana, it's been my dream to play at LSU, what is the number worth to not go to college and instead bank that money in the bank? And
you'd have spent it anyway.
Oh, man, I think
whatever that number is, you would have spent it.
I think that number, imagine being 18 and having $1 million cash after taxes.
Totally gone.
No, but I'm saying, like, you'd have people around you that would help you do things with that.
They'd help me spend it.
No, but okay.
I'm just
not
being
you,
honest.
Me.
Okay,
not you. Me. I would have people around.
You got rich people in your life.
You'd have people around me that would be smart with it. What could you, if you took $500,000 and you put it in the bank or at some sort of fund
before or after you buy some stuff?
Well, I'm saying 500 cash.
All right.
I got 500 cash to go play with. Get that big truck. Get all those toys. Get the guns.
We'll take the other 500.
Whatever. Take 500 cash. Put it in the bank at 18. What a difference that makes for your life.
Of course.
For the rest of your life, right?
Forever.
So that said, I think my number would be 2.
$2 million?
Because then
that way you can burn a mill.
You can burn a mill. Taxes and all that. I want to clear a mill to make it worth.
I agree with you.
Going to college. I think $1 million's a number.
What's your number now?
$5. I mean, what are you talking about?
What's your number now?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying. What's your number to like what's the number Ronnie needs to have in the bank today? to live righteous? I'm just asking you a personal question.
I'm not going to go there. I don't know why. I'm not going to have this conversation. I'm saying,
I'm just saying your number might be different from my number.
Graduating in 2020 from Catholic High in Baton Rouge, I get drafted. There's a number that it's worth not to go to LSU to play college.
Your number's $2 million.
I think my number is $2 million. I think.
What's Dad's number? Your dad.
This is weird, man.
Why is that?
Where
I'm
are
asking.
you going with
your
this
number might be $2 million, but you said you got people in your life. I'm sure it was your dad.
I don't even know what you. I mean, you're just so off the rails today. You didn't take your medicine. I'm just talking about 18-year-old kids that graduate right now.
Sure.
What is the number to not go play at LSU?
I was trying
as much
to
as
put
you want to.
in that situation.
I don't even know.
And get to know you a little bit. I wanted to get to know you.
It's so
what?
Weird. So
Nobody
weird.
even knows who Roger is.
You do.
I do.
I just need you to
so
know how
weird.
weird this is. Okay?
Roger's weird.
But
I'm that weird?
Yes, this is strange,
Unbelievable.
this conversation.
You hurt my feelings.
But, hey, look, this is what happens.
You're not going to ask me what my number
is? You already said you'd blow it. What's your number? Like, you don't want to go to school, so your number would be like 500,000.
It was probably less than that. I'd have probably taken
Not then. Talking about your son or daughter.
Oh, we can talk about me now.
I'm talking about your son
but
or
we can't
daughter
talk about you right
day,
now.
Modern day. So, I mean, the numbers were less 30 years ago.
So if my son came out right now and he got it,
I mean, hey son, don't go to college, don't play for LSU, take the money. What would that number be?
Mil.
For you, a mil.
For my son and me, a mil.
A mil.
Yeah, I'm sending it.
My number's 2, yours is 1.
His is 1. Yeah, because I understand that none of my kids could make it through college. And they're going to be welders. We're going to have.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I'm so. My son's making a ton of money. He's a welder.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a mil, and I'm going to let him go do what he's going to do in baseball, and then he's going to finish, and he's going to be a welder for the rest of his life, and he's going to love it, and he's really good at it, and he makes a ton of money. So my number is different than yours. It's a mil. I'll take a mil. Let's go.
Here's the problem. Whenever you're a guy and you're a high profile guy that's being, like a K. Doty. I mean, he was getting phone calls a week of the draft this year out of Denham Springs High School, where they were talking about $2 million. And when you're that good of a player, you've got agents, you've got people around you, right? And they're all saying, "You're great, you're wonderful." If you go to LSU and you play well over 3 years, or just you stay healthy by that third year, that 2 is going to become 4.
That's right.
So you think that way. You don't think like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose it. This is the best I'm gonna do." You think, "Hey, I'm a stud. I got offered $2 million out of high school. If I go marinate for 3 years at LSU, they're gonna give me 4."
That's right.
And so that's why the number is different than the reality. Man, it's if you're an in-state kid and you're a stud, that number I think is a little higher than if you come from Alabama and you come to LSU to play or whatever.
I don't disagree with that.
Quick takeaway: I don't think this LSU baseball team is any different than what we thought going into the season. We knew that they had a lot of good arms and they could pitch
deep,
and we knew that the hitting was going to be up and down.
It's always up and down.
But Beloso and Cabrera are dudes. Everybody else is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get.
That's right.
And so, I don't think this. I think this team's going to be a good team. I think it's going to get better as the year goes on. Can't wait to see what Jaden Hill does. Does he continue to stay healthy? And at what point do they pull the ripcord and throw him into the rotation?
I love watching that kid throw the ball. He got some stink.
I want to talk UL and Tony Robichaux here for a minute. The Raging Cajuns opened up this past weekend. They did such a great job. I thought UL did such a good job as far as honoring Tony Robichaux, his kids, his sons, his daughter. Everybody was involved all weekend long. Friday night, super emotional. Raging Cajuns wore 36s on their hat. You see 36 everywhere. It's on the back of hats, shirts, polos, you name it. They're selling it all over. They're raising money for the school as well as for a fund for the Robichaux. They did a great job as far as honoring. They've got 36 on the center field wall next to Ron Guidry's number out in center field. But the statue unveiling on Saturday, mad props to the Raging Cajuns, and particularly the Raging Cajun alumni, the baseball players. He passed away July 3rd. Here we are in February.
Right.
They already have a statue
6
up.
months.
I mean, it's fully funded by all the former players. Phil Devey was the point person, a former pitcher from Canada in the late 90s. he was kind of the Rand point on it and reached out to the player. They raised enough money not only to pay for this statue, which was about $160,000
Crazy.
so statue. They had extra money left over and they gave it to the family. I mean, kudos to them. At LSU, it takes like 10 years to get a statue, right? I mean, like we talked about the Skip Bertman statue since the day the guy retired in 2001, and we finally got it in 2019.
I don't think it's going to take that long to get a Joe Burrow statue. I really don't. I think they're going to do that pretty quickly.
That said, and look, I'll put up on Twitter or give me a follow on Instagram, Ronnie Rantz 21 on Instagram, or go to Twitter, sports_shorts. I'll put it up today, and I'll tag you in it, and Joel will have it as well for those of you that are lucky enough to follow Joel on Twitter. But I'll put up some Tony Robichaux video and some pictures of the statue. They nailed it.
Yeah.
It's Tony Robichaux standing there, like with his hand out, talking to his team. He's got his Oakleys on his hat, which were, patented look of his. And and in front is like a bronze wall of like players on a knee, about 6-7 players, all with their hats off, kind of look like they're in a team prayer, listening type of thing. It's the perfect statue because you can see that, you can visualize and see that, and it's only 8 foot tall. You can walk up by it, and I tell you what, they did a great job, and it was super emotional. They didn't play well this weekend. I think they probably got caught up a little bit in the emotion of the whole thing. Crowds were great, like always. And people fail to realize LSU's led the nation in attendance for 20-something years. I don't know, 25 years. Raging Cajuns have been top 10 in the country in attendance.
Great support
since they built a new stadium and opened it up 3-4 years ago. And I mean, that's two
Stadium's
programs
amazing.
An hour away from each other, and they're both in the top 10 in the country. Before we let you go, I want to let you get a word in about the NFL. Free agency is 30 days away from the time we take the show. My favorite time of the year. You are Mr. Mel Kiper of Louisiana, except not as good a hair. I mean,
his is starting.
Saints fans are sweating. They're hearing Taysom Hill and his agent saying we want to be paid like a quarterback. You got Teddy Bridgewater sitting there. What's his future hold? Drew Brees hasn't re-signed. Why?
Okay, so just my opinion, just reading between the tea leaves, okay?
No sources?
No, this is your source right here. Drew Brees will be back one more year. First of all, I believe that Drew Brees is not going to allow, and I'm telling you, this is truly what I believe, and I'm just trying to put my competitive hat on, right? Drew Brees is not going to let Tom Brady have all the records. He's not going to let him have all the Super Bowls and all the records, and Drew Brees wants to go down as one of the greatest of all times. He wants to be the guy on top of the mountain in something. Tom Brady has all the Super Bowls, right? He's got 6 Super Bowls, 9 appearances. What Drew Brees has right now has a Super Bowl, but he has a lot of the records, completion percentage records, yards record, touchdown. He's got all these records that he's trying to hold on to. And Tom Brady's on his nipping at his heels.
You really think Drew Brees cares that much about the record book?
Yes, I do,
Ron. Records are made to be broken. That's the oldest saying in the world.
Not in like 8-minute abs. I mean, give the guy some time to like sit on it for a few years.
I mean, Brett Favre's broken. Peyton, they're broken.
I don't care. But Drew Brees is very competitive, and so is Tom Brady, obviously. They've been in the league for 20 years. I just don't see – I see Drew Brees obviously wanting to win a Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, the records at this point are important. They're very important to the legacy of Drew Brees. So I'm thinking he's going to come back at least one more year, try to keep adding to his totals, and hope that Tom calls it quits. And at the same time, those guys, that way those two guys can go into the Hall of Fame maybe together. How awesome would that be in 5 years that those two cats go into the Hall of Fame in 6 years, 7 years together? I think Drew Brees is here for one more year, and I believe Taysom Hill will be his backup quarterback this year. I think the Saints will draft a young quarterback early, first round, unless there's an unbelievable wide receiver there or an unbelievable linebacker there at 24, or they move up for somebody. Those are the 3 positions in the first round that I see: quarterback, linebacker, wide receiver. I believe that they'll draft a quarterback early. Teddy's gone. Teddy's going to get an opportunity to go play somewhere, Tampa, Carolina, somewhere. I mean, it could even be the Chargers, for all we know. It can be somewhere Indianapolis. There's a team that's going to give him some money. Now, Teddy seems to be a smart guy. He loves New Orleans. I mean, rides his bike to the games, dude. He loves New Orleans. He loves being here. If he doesn't get the money or the job that he wants, he could even be back with the Saints as well. So that's where I see it. Drew's back. Taysom's back unless somebody gives him a 1. Unless the Saints get a 1 for him.
If you get a 1 for him, then as much as they don't want to lose him, you let it go.
You either pay him or you let it get you 1. They could use another 1 this year.
Do you really think that the Saints believe Taysom Hill is the future?
I believe they do. I believe that what you're reading is real. I don't think it's just lip service to get a 1 out of somebody. I think that they truly believe. Look, he's made some throws, dude, that you went, whoa. I mean, there was a back shoulder throw that he made earlier in the season last year. That was great.
But hang on.
He's throwing the ball well.
You can't believe that Taysom Hill, if he's the future of the Saints, that the Saints are going to run the same offense. I mean, it's got to be more Baltimore Ravenish.
Well, yeah. No. I think that
they're going to have to change this offense.
I think Taysom Hill's a better thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson.
No, I probably agree with you on that, but you can't. He's not Drew Brees.
Every time that dude drops back to throw the ball, he is a weapon.
By the way,
he doesn't have to throw the ball.
You say every time. I think he's got 10 completions in his career.
Ronnie, I'm not saying that they're not going to go run
we
heavy.
Got a big sample size.
Bro, I'm not saying he's the future. I'm saying that they believe that he could be the heir apparent. He's going to be 30 years old this season. How old was Steve Young? And I know Steve Young played in Tampa a little bit.
Well, he played in the USFL,
got some snaps.
And then he played in Tampa a little bit.
But this dude has played in wild card games and was an elite player. I don't care.
Steve
He's
Young,
on the field, Ronnie.
It's not even the same thing. Steve Young was a known commodity with experience in 2 leagues.
How old
he was
an
old dude.
30 years old. He was 30 years old when he got his
Steve
first.
Steve Young at 30 and Taysom Young at 30 ain't the same dude.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill ain't not the same guy.
I'm not saying he is, but people are giving me this age thing.
I'm asking you because Saints might have a decision to make. If they tag him with a 1 and somebody gives them the money, are they going to match the money for a guy that they think might be the future? That's my whole thing. He either is the future or he isn't. For a 1,
I
for a lot of money.
I think
because you can't pay Taysom Hill and keep Teddy Bridgewater. So you're not.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to be paying the dude $20 million. I mean, you paid Teddy $7. You paid Teddy $7 last year. So I don't think anybody's going to be giving Taysom more than 12. I really don't. I don't think.
So if he gets 12, you're going to have to give Teddy a bump if he stays.
Well, you're not going to give him 12 and Teddy 10. You're not. That's not going to. I'm just saying if we're going to know a lot in the next couple weeks if the Saints put a first-round tender on Taysom Hill,
which I think they will,
and I think they will too, because I think somebody will easily pay him at a second-round tender. So they got to put a number 1 on him. I think that says a lot about how they feel about him. And I think if someone, I think that also gives them leverage with a trade. That gives them some leverage with an opportunity to trade with a team. There's a lot of moving parts going on. There's so many opportunities here. They're boosting Taysom up as well to kind of maybe increase his value for a potential trade as well. So they're gonna restrict a free agent him at a number 1. I think he's about a $12 million a year. I think that if they get $12 million a year, I would pay that dude to be your backup.
Right, so
I don't think you let him walk for $12 million.
So Drew's back, and then you have no clue about what's going on with Taysom Hill. You've contradicted yourself.
How?
5 times here.
I think that there's so many things that can happen.
Tom Brady, Mel Kiper of the South, Joel Davis, Tom Brady, back in Peyton or back in New England with the Patriots, or is he out?
I think he's gone unless they get that dude some weapons at the wide receiver position. He's going to be like, dude.
Yeah, this past year was so frustrating.
It was so horrible for him, dude. I mean, he had nobody to throw the football to. It's either, hey, go get me some receivers or I'm out. And I think that you've heard reports that the Raiders are positioning themselves to pay him $60 million for 2 years. I mean, he doesn't need the money, but at the end of the day, it's $60 million. John Gruden.
And it's Vegas.
And it's Vegas, baby.
Right.
And I think it would be
closer to L.A., which
I think it would be exciting. I think it would be an exciting opportunity for him.
Lastly, Phillip Rivers. His days are done in San Diego. He's 4th all time on the passing list, or 6th, or something like that. Where does he end up?
He's going to Carolina or he's going to Tampa. That's just my feeling. So Those are two teams in that vicinity. He moved to Florida. Those are two teams in the vicinity that he could play for. And I think that both teams need a quarterback. I don't think
Tampa's moved on from Jameis? Got 30 touchdowns, 5,000 yards.
Yeah, I think that they have.
Got LASIK.
That's not going to help him.
It's going to help him not throw interceptions.
That's not going to help him, man. We've seen 5 years of that dude, and 30 touchdowns. He has learned nothing. He's a turnover machine.
I know. 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. He will land somewhere.
Oh no. Oh, he's in the NFL.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to give him a chance. Somebody's going to give him a chance, but nobody's going to. They're not going to pay him what he thinks he's worth.
As bad as Crab Legs is, he's still a top. I'd still put him in a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
Bro, you can't turn the ball over like that, Ron. It's just not in the NFL.
10,
when teams are
15,
winning by 3 and 7 points, when the league is as tight as it is, okay, I think that those interceptions. I mean, it's 2 a game, man. You can't turn the ball over like that and win.
All right, he's Joel Davis. Go by.
Bruce Arians ain't gonna put up with that.
Go by, check him out at Woodenhaven Furniture Company on Government Street in Baton Rouge. Tell them you heard it on Sports Shorts, and they'll give you pay your tax. He'll tell you pay your tax if you tell them you heard it right here on Sports Shorts. We'll take a break. When we come back, Hall of Fame voice Lyn Rollins will join us. Don't go anywhere.
Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rantz.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Shorts, presented by LaBerge Casino. We go to Pineville, Louisiana, the home of Hall of Fame voice, the Distinguished Service Award winner in sports journalism for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame back in 2018. Lyn Rollins joins us. How are you, sir?
I'm well, and I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this morning post-LSU opening weekend.
Yeah, so, I mean, what was that like for you? You've done many an opening weekend. Quick snippet takeaways. And is baseball your favorite sport to do?
I don't know that I have a favorite, but the continuity of baseball and the style of the game, which allows multiple storylines simultaneously, is very enjoyable. I'll tell you one thing. I think for sure on radio, baseball and radio is a marvelous marriage more than any other sport. But yes, I very much like opening day. I'm a traditionalist. I'm a bit of a romantic when it comes to this, and to have the promise of spring and 3, 4, 5 months of baseball ahead of you, it's marvelous. Takeaways, certainly I think LSU's pitching staff is better than it's been in a while and healthier than it's been in a while for the most part, and to me that was encouraging to see.
A couple quick things I want to roll through with Lyn Rollins. Coach O, the first pitch. As far as first pitches go, what did you think?
Oh, that's an A. He shook off a few signs. It was great that he actually threw the first pitch to his football player, Maurice Hampton, and I liked it. I liked it, and he didn't warm up too much and still was able to get it there pretty well, and
but he bounced
better than I did a few years ago.
He bounced it, Lyn. I mean, any takeaway on that? I mean, at least he didn't eephus pitch bounced it.
Well,
I mean,
the man, I thought he was going to eat the ball at first. I mean, it looked like it was a boudin ball in his hand. But no, I give him an A for effort and showmanship.
Friday night, opening night, packed house. Cole Henry worked 4 innings. He gave up 3 hits, had 8 strikeouts, 0 walks. That, we knew a lot about Cole Henry, but he kind of picked up where he left off, right?
Well, yes, I think that's obviously a starter in the weekend rotation, probably Friday night. I was very pleased, and Ronnie, the last thing you saw, no walks is the most important thing. Opening night, the whole thing. He hasn't pitched in a game in a while, and yes, he was every bit, I think, as good as Paul Maneri and his coaching staff wanted him to be.
LSU on Friday night in their opening night win had 12 strikeouts, 2 walks. When you get to the one loss of the weekend, walks were an issue. I think they had like 8 walks or whatever in the last game. But on Friday night, there were a couple of cool moments. Cade Doty is a kid that we've talked about and you've known about for a while because his brother's on the team. He's from Denham Springs. I know Ben coached him when he was younger. And for him to hit a home run in the first at-bat in the first inning on opening night, the other guy who did that was Blake Dean. I remember being at the old box. Blake Dean.
Well, the last one who did it, yeah, you're right. And the last one who did it was Bo Didier.
Oh, Bo did that? I didn't realize that Bo hit a home run in his first college at-bat. That's cool. Mel Didier's grandson. But as far as that moment, that was pretty cool. And also the Milazzo kid from Zachary, who people asked me last week on some different shows who I thought was going to, who player to watch kind of thing, not only this weekend, but for the year. And I said, obviously Doty's going to be a guy and he's going to play a lot and he should have he's a talented player. But the Milazzo kid, I think you're going to see Milazzo catch maybe even a little more than people think. Garza's been nicked up throughout his career, and he's a big bat. Maybe you go a little Garza from time to time in DH to give him some rest, and also give Milazzo an opportunity to play because they think he's so good defensively.
Well, Alex Milazzo is touted defensively. He's got an extremely quick release towards second base to throw out would-be base stealers. I think he was impressive. I don't think the moment was at all too big for him. I think LSU's catching offensively and defensively is better than it's been in recent years, and there have been some good ones, of course, but it has been a problem the last couple of years, especially defensively and at times offensively. But I liked Saul Garza. He looked a bit fitter to me. He seemed comfortable. I think his footwork was better. He cut loose with a couple of good throws and nailed one base runner, and it wasn't his fault on the other one. So I like Alex Milazzo. I like his moxie. If he can produce anything offensively, you're right. This LSU catching staff can be rotated, and you can use Garza, of course, as a DH.
Couple, I want to get your takeaway, and also you were alongside Ben McDonald all weekend, so I'm sure Ben had some opinions on the air and off. Wanted to get your thoughts on Landon Marceau, a guy who so much hype. Basically, if he was a football player, he'd be a 5-star out of high school, turned down, we know, at least $1.5 million out of high school. Had some up and down moments last year, but that's to be expected. The guy was a freshman, but he finished the season strong as a freshman. Coming into this year, touted the number 2 starter on paper for LSU. First time out the box on Saturday, went 4 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs all earned, had 2 walks and only 2 strikeouts. He threw a total of 73 pitches. Your takeaway from Landon Marceau, you saw him a lot last year. Did he look any different to you?
I like his poise and I like his control. I think the LSU pitching staff, quite honestly, would needs to see him develop a pitch where he can leave people at the plate, a knockout pitch, so to speak. I think he's going to pitch well, but without that knockout pitch, I think he's going to be a guy who doesn't get past the middle innings as a starter. But I think he's got tremendous potential. But I think they're looking for a little more snap somewhere. But yes, he's going to be certainly given every opportunity to pitch regularly for LSU, and I suspect he'll have some success. I think he could be even better if he develops that pitch where you throw the 2-2, you need a strikeout, and you can get it.
On Saturday, Nick Storrs got a chance to throw. He threw 1 inning. He had 1 hit. He had 1 walk, no strikeouts. Faced 4 batters, threw a total of 14 pitches. Nick Storrs is a guy we've heard a lot about for the last couple of years. He's been banged up, but he's a big kid from Northeast and 6'4", 6'5", right-hander. For those that didn't get, what did you see out of Nick Storrs?
I saw what I expected. I'm still waiting to see a breaking ball from him. But my goodness, has he had a terrible time of getting to the mound because of injuries, and everybody who knows him and appreciates his work ethic certainly wants him to succeed. Again, I think it's he possesses that really big body, all the physical attributes. He throws hard, and I think he's going to develop a secondary pitch. I don't see him as a starter, but everybody's pulling for Nick Storrs.
This team versus last year's team, it's only one weekend. It was only 3 games. They won 2 out of 3 against Indiana. They came into the season ranked anywhere, not in the top 10 in any of the polls. On all the polls, they were 11 to 20. Snapshot takeaway: last year's squad, this year's squad.
Still too early to tell, and that's the predictable answer. I think the pitching staff is going to keep LSU in more ball games. I think you're going to see games in which 4 runs is enough, and maybe less than that on occasion. We have not talked about Jaden Hill, and this is a guy who was very fluid. He was throwing strikes. He reached 98 a couple of miles an hour. I happen to think that miles per hour is an overrated number in pitching, but when you're approaching 100 with control, then you're in really, really good shape. And to me, Ronnie, and we'll see how he winds up being used, but I think you're looking at him as the closer and a declared closer in the not too distant future. Now that moves Fontenot to another role, and I think he's going to be up for that.
You feel like the move is Hill to closer, not to starter in a couple of months?
I do, and I don't think it's going to be a couple of months. I think it's a couple of weeks, and that's not to say that anybody else couldn't be the closer. Devin Fontenot certainly did a fine job of that most of the time last year. I just think Jaden Hill, coming off the injury, is a guy that is going to be able to throw hard, throw strikes for an inning or two, and be really, really effective. And then you really free up Fontenot for some setup roles, for some longer relief, and we know how good he can be as well. I do know for a fact Devin Fontenot was interviewed by 18 major league teams last year after the season with LSU's version of Pro Day, and so he's got a lot of potential as well. But I do. I see Hill in that closer role.
Interesting, because I would have thought, if all goes well and he feels good and he's healthy and yada yada, that come month and a half or so from now, they start to try to see if they can't get 5 innings out of him. I guess some of it depends on how he feels as well as what his mentality is. What is it that he wants to do? I think
so. Well, we saw him early, a couple of really nice starts last year before he went down for the rest of the season, and he certainly looked comfortable and in that starting role, but because of the gas that he can throw and him still coming off that injury, this is not to say he couldn't start. But I don't think he's a guy that's going to get you into the 6th inning all that much because of the great effort that he throws with. Now, he looked very, very smooth, didn't appear uncomfortable at all, and that's obviously a very good sign after coming back off the injury.
Lyn Rollins joined us. Last thing, Lyn, I got a chance to go over on Saturday, and I know you haven't been yet, and you will be doing a game there later, a couple games there this year, and that's over in Lafayette. I went to the Raging Cajuns, went to Russo Park. It was a very emotional weekend for the Raging Cajuns, first weekend since Tony Robichaux's passing, and Matt Deggs now took over as the coach, and a lot of distractions emotionally and ceremony. But they unveiled the statue on Saturday, and I'm telling you, it was the same artist from New Jersey that did Skip's statue, Shaq's statue, Steve Gleason outside the Dome, etc. This guy's done over like 500 statues around the country. He's only flown the 3 reveals of the statues that he's built, and he came to Lafayette because he was touched by this Tony story. He was touched by the fact that his former players paid for this statue entirely. And oh, by the way, Tony Robichaux passed away July 3rd. They already have a statue up of him. And they did a great job. It's one of him standing there talking to his team, and there's like 6 of them on a knee, 6 or 7 players on a knee in front of listening to him. It's just I can't tip my cap enough to the Raging Cajun community and the former players, how they were able to get this thing done in such a timely fashion and just knock it out the ballpark. Incredible.
Well, I'm glad you saw it, and all of the reviews I've heard have said it's entirely appropriate, and this is not an inexpensive thing. And his players rallied as we thought they would, and it's extremely meaningful. He is a man who will be missed for a long, long time, not only for his Hall of Fame credentials as a coach, but what he stood for outside of a ballpark. And I'm glad you came away impressed. I universally heard the same thing, Ronnie, and I look forward to seeing it and remembering Tony Robichaux.
Lyn, thanks for the time. We'll see you. Are you at the box on Tuesday? LSU.
Don't forget that's a 5 o'clock game. Don't be late.
Yeah, 5 o'clock. Workers special because of the 8 o'clock LSU Kentucky basketball game. We'll see you, Lyn.
Thanks for the time.
All right. Sports Shorts presented by LeBears. We'll be back right after this.
Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rantz.
Thanks to Joel Davis for being here, as well as Lyn Rollins, the Hall of Fame voice. Don't forget, LSU 5 o'clock, taking on Southern on Tuesday. And then at Nichols, that game will be on CST. I'll be on the call. Have a great week, everybody.
Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.